The small research vessel shuddered violently as it dropped out of hyperspace. Warning lights flashed across its sleek control panel, bathing the cockpit in an angry red glow. Lily clutched her seat, her silvery skin reflecting the emergency lights as she tried to make sense of the situation. As a top student of the prestigious Stellar Academy, she had never faced a real crisis before. Warning: critical system failure. Emergency landing required, the ship's AI announced in its calm voice. Lily's pointed ears twitched with anxiety as she scanned the star charts. The nearest inhabited planet was a mining colony. And worse, it was operated mainly by humans. Her people, the Luminary, considered humans to be barely more than clever animals. They were a species that still used physical tools instead of pure energy manipulation, still ate real food instead of absorbing pure nutrients, and still relied on primitive emotions to make decisions. The ship's descent was rough but controlled. As it broke through the planet's atmosphere, Lily could see the mining colony spread out below her. Unlike the elegant crystal spires of her homeworld, this place was all metal and concrete. Ugly, practical buildings scattered across a dusty landscape. The landing pad's automatic systems caught her vessel, bringing it to a safe stop. Lily took a deep breath, straightening her shimmering academic robes. She would have to interact with the locals, but surely she could manage these simple creatures long enough to get her ship repaired. As she stepped out of her ship, the dry air and natural gravity hit her like a physical force. The mining colony's main dome loomed ahead, its reinforced panels protecting the inhabitants from the harsh environment. A small group had already gathered near her landing pad, probably alerted by her emergency beacon. "Hey there, looks like you had a rough landing." A loud voice called out. A human male walked toward her, wiping his hands on his worn work clothes. He was tall for his species, with broad shoulders and tanned skin that spoke of physical labor, something no civilized luminary would ever engage in. "I am student researcher Lily of the Luminary Stellar Academy," she announced, using the simplified language humans could understand. "My vessel requires immediate maintenance." The human smiled, such an odd expression, and extended his hand. "I'm Jack, chief engineer of this little rock. Mind if I take a look at your ship?" Lily hesitated. Let a human touch her advanced vessel. But what choice did she have? She nodded stiffly. To her surprise, Jack didn't immediately start poking at things. Instead, he walked slowly around the ship, his eyes narrowed in concentration. He pulled out a simple scanner, practically ancient by her standards, and began taking readings. "Interesting design," he muttered. "Your quantum stabilizer's out of alignment. Probably got knocked loose when you dropped out of hyperspace. We've seen it happen before with ships passing through this sector. There's a weird gravitational anomaly that plays havoc with sensitive equipment." Lily blinked in surprise. How could he identify the problem so quickly with such basic tools? "The quantum stabilizer is a highly advanced piece of technology," she said doubtfully. Jack shrugged. "Advanced or not, it still follows the basic laws of physics. Give me a few hours, and I can have it fixed. You might want to grab some food and rest in the meantime. We've got a guest quarters set up for stranded travelers." As Lily followed another colonist to the guest quarters, she couldn't help but glance back at Jack. He was already focused on her ship, his movements sure and purposeful. Despite her ingrained beliefs about human inferiority, she had to admit there was something impressive about his quiet competence. Little did she know, this unexpected landing would challenge everything she thought she knew about humans, civilization, and what it truly meant to be advanced. The mining colony might look primitive, but it held lessons that no amount of academic study could provide. Lessons she would soon learn the hard way. Lily sat in the colony's dining hall, trying not to show her disgust as she watched the humans actually chewing and swallowing their food. Her own nutrient pack felt civilized in comparison, though she had to admit it didn't smell as interesting as whatever stew they were eating. "Mind if I join you?" Jack's voice interrupted her thoughts. Without waiting for permission, He sat down across from her with a tray full of food. His hands were clean now, but still showed signs of the work he'd been doing on her ship. "Is my vessel's repair progressing adequately?" Lily asked, trying to maintain the formal distance her teachers had insisted was proper when dealing with lesser species. Jack took a bite of his stew and nodded. "Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. The quantum stabilizer isn't just misaligned. Some of the crystal matrices are cracked. We can't fix it with standard parts." Lily felt her heart sink. "Then I am stranded here." "Not exactly," Jack said, pulling out a rough sketch on a paper napkin. "How primitive. I think we can modify some of our mining laser crystals to work in your system. They're not as fancy as your original parts, but they're more durable. Might even handle the gravitational anomaly better." "That's impossible," Lily said flatly. "Mining equipment cannot possibly substitute for advanced luminary technology." Jack's eyes sparkled with amusement. "Want to bet? Come on, I'll show you." Despite her reservations, Lily followed him to the engineering bay. Unlike the sterile, automated repair facilities she was used to, this place was cluttered with tools and spare parts. Jack led her to a workbench where her ship's damaged components lay next to several rough-looking crystals. "Watch this," he said, picking up a cutting tool. His hands moved with surprising precision as he shaped one of the mining crystals. "The principle is the same. It's all about how the crystal channels and focuses energy. Your version is more efficient, sure, but sometimes simpler is more reliable." Over the next few hours, Lily found herself drawn into the work despite herself. Jack explained each step, and to her surprise, his understanding of crystal engineering was both practical and innovative. He approached problems differently than her people would, but she couldn't deny his solutions worked. "But this goes against everything in the standard engineering protocols," she protested as Jack demonstrated how to modify the crystal's energy pathway. "That's the thing about protocols," Jack said, carefully aligning the crystal. "They're great until you face a problem they didn't plan for. Then you have to think outside the box." "Think outside the box," Lily repeated, confused by the phrase. Jack laughed. "It means finding new solutions instead of following the usual rules, like using mining crystals to fix a spaceship." As they worked, Lily noticed other things that challenged her preconceptions. The other engineers moved with practiced efficiency, their primitive tools achieving results that rivaled automated systems. They collaborated naturally, solving problems through quick discussions and shared experience rather than consulting vast databases. When Jack finally installed the modified crystal into her ship's systems, Lily held her breath. The engine hummed to life, the energy flow even smoother than before. "How did you know this would work?" she asked, genuinely curious. "Experience," Jack said simply. "When you work with something every day, you learn its quirks. Sometimes the fancy solution isn't the best one. These crystals might be cheaper and simpler than yours, but they're tough. They have to be, to handle the stress of mining work." Looking at her ship's readings, Lily felt her worldview shift slightly. The solution was elegant in its simplicity, something that would never have occurred to her people's engineers. Perhaps there was more to these humans than her education had suggested. As she walked back to her quarters that evening, Lily found herself wondering what other surprises this colony might hold. She had expected to be counting the hours until she could leave this primitive outpost. Instead, she was starting to think there might be valuable lessons to learn here, if she was willing to open her mind to them. The mining colony's warning sirens woke Lily from her sleep. She rushed to her window, seeing red warning lights flashing across the dome's inner surface. Outside, the security lights were flickering strangely. "All residents, please note that we are experiencing technical difficulties. Remain calm," the colony's announcement system crackled, its usual clear sound breaking up with static. Lily quickly put on her robes and hurried to find Jack. She found him in the control room, bent over a display screen with a worried look on his face. "What's happening?" she asked, watching as more warning lights appeared on the main control panel. "Something's wrong with our systems," Jack said, his fingers moving quickly over the controls. "We've lost connection to the outer sensors, and the power grid is acting up. This isn't normal." Lily stepped closer to look at the readings. "Have you run a full diagnostic scan?" "Tried to. The computer keeps crashing." Jack rubbed his chin, leaving a smudge of dirt. "I don't trust this. It feels wrong." Lily almost smiled at his unscientific description. "Feels wrong? Surely you need proper data to—" A loud bang interrupted her. The lights flickered, and several screens went dark. "That's the backup power system failing," Jack said, already moving. "Come with me. I want to check something." They hurried through the corridors, passing worried-looking colonists. Jack led them to a maintenance tunnel, pulling open a panel to reveal a mess of wires and pipes. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a small device attached to one of the main power cables. "That shouldn't be there." Lily leaned closer, her eyes widening. "That's a signal interceptor. But it's very advanced, military grade." "Pirates," Jack said grimly. "They're trying to disable our defenses. I've seen this before on other colonies. They hide in the asteroid belt, waiting for a chance to strike." "Pirates." Lily felt her blood run cold. "But this sector is supposed to be safe. Space is big, and patrols can't be everywhere." Jack was already pulling tools from his belt. "We need to warn everyone. But if we use the normal communication channels, they'll know we're onto them." More alarms started blaring. Through the maintenance tunnel's small window, Lily could see ships appearing in the distance, sleek, dangerous-looking vessels painted in dark colors. "Those are Crimson Blade ships," she said, recognizing their design from her security briefings. "They're one of the most dangerous pirate groups in the sector." Jack didn't seem impressed by this information. Instead, he was quickly disconnecting the interceptor device. "Lily, I need your help. You understand advanced tech better than I do. Can you figure out what frequencies they're using to jam our systems?" Lily hesitated. This wasn't like her academic studies. This was real danger, with real lives at stake. But looking at Jack's determined face, she felt something she hadn't expected: trust in his judgment. She took the device and began examining it. Yes, I can see the pattern. They're using a rotating frequency to block communications and slowly disable the security systems. Can we reverse it? Use their own signal against them?" Lily thought for a moment, her academic knowledge combining with what she learned watching Jack work. Yes, we could. If we modify the colony's transmission array to match their frequency pattern but invert it, we could shut down their jammers," Jack finished, grinning. "That's brilliant, but we'll only have a few minutes before they realize what's happening." They worked quickly, Jack's practical skills complementing Lily's technical knowledge. As they raced against time, Lily realized she wasn't thinking about humans being primitive anymore. All that mattered was stopping the pirates. "There," she said finally, making the last adjustment. "It's ready." "Good," Jack said, his expression serious. "Because we're going to need every advantage we can get. Those pirates aren't going to give up easily, and we've got a colony to protect." Looking at the approaching pirate ships, Lily felt fear, but also something else: determination. She was starting to understand why humans had survived and thrived despite their primitive technology. Sometimes, the will to protect others was more important than having the most advanced equipment. The real battle was about to begin. The first explosion rocked the colony dome, just as Lily and Jack reached the main control room. Warning lights flashed everywhere as colonists rushed to their emergency stations. Through the dome's transparent panels, they could see 3 pirate ships circling like hungry predators. "They've breached the outer defense line," someone shouted. The main screen showed multiple red dots approaching the colony. Boarding pods launched from the pirate ships. "Everyone, stay calm," Jack commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Tom, Get the civilians to the shelter. Mike, lock down the vital systems. Lily, I need your help with the defense grid. Lily's hands flew over the control panel, but nothing responded the way it should. The pirates are using some kind of advanced override system. It's blocking my commands. A second explosion shook the building. Through the windows, they could see the first boarding pod had attached itself to the eastern section of the dome. The sound of cutting tools filled the air. The pirates were burning through the outer hull. We've got maybe 5 minutes before they break through, Jack said, checking the security feeds. Lily, what can you tell me about their tech? It's actually luminary-based technology. Lily realized with horror. They must have stolen it from one of our research outposts. That's why it's so effective against our systems. The pirates' override was familiar to her. It used the same principles she'd studied at the academy. But that knowledge felt useless now. Her advanced education hadn't prepared her for real combat. Jack surprised her by smiling. So you know how it works. Good. We can use that. But I can't stop it. Lily protested. Their system is too powerful. Then we don't try to stop it, Jack said, already moving toward a maintenance panel. We go around it. Your people rely too much on advanced tech. But this colony, we've got backup systems so old they can't be hacked, because they're not even connected to the main network. He pulled open the panel, revealing a mess of manual switches and basic controls. Help me reroute power to the emergency systems. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. Lily worked alongside Jack, amazed at how he combined her knowledge of the pirates' technology with his understanding of the colony's basic systems. They were bypassing the sophisticated defense grid entirely, instead using simple mechanical controls to operate the colony's functions. The first group of pirates burst through the eastern airlock, wearing sleek combat suits. They were met with a surprise. Instead of the disabled security systems they expected, they faced manually activated defense turrets that Jack had restored using the backup controls. We've got the east wing covered, Jack said, but they're breaking through in the north section too. We need tow. A massive explosion cut him off. The entire colony shook, and warning lights turned from red to black as systems failed completely. The pirates had destroyed the main power core. No. Lily cried, watching her carefully programmed defenses shut down. We've lost everything. But Jack was already moving. Not everything. Remember what I taught you about thinking outside the box. He grabbed her hand. Come on. We need to get to the mining equipment bay. As they ran through the darkened corridors, Lily heard the pirates breaking through more sections of the colony. Her people's technology, meant for research and advancement, was being used to destroy. All her advanced knowledge seemed worthless in the face of such brutal reality. They reached the mining bay, and Jack started powering up one of the huge drilling machines. These run on independent power cells, he explained quickly, and they're built to cut through solid rock. The pirates might have fancy tech, but let's see how they handle some old-fashioned mining equipment. Looking at the determined faces of the colonists gathering around them, armed with mining tools and protective gear, Lily understood something important. The pirates had superior technology, but technology wasn't everything. These humans, whom she had once considered primitive, were ready to defend their home with whatever tools they had. And for the first time, she was proud to stand with them. The mining bay echoed with the sound of heavy machinery powering up. Jack had transformed the massive drilling machines into makeshift weapons, their industrial-grade cutting beams now pointed toward the corridors where pirates were advancing. These drills are designed to cut through solid rock, Jack explained as he modified the controls. The pirates' fancy shields won't expect this kind of raw power. Lily watched in amazement as the colonists organized themselves with practiced efficiency. Some were converting mining lasers into defensive weapons, while others used heavy loading equipment to create barricades. But this is primitive, she said, watching them work. These tools weren't designed for combat. Exactly, Jack grinned. That's why it'll work. Sometimes the best solution is the simple one. He handed her a modified mining scanner. Can you recalibrate this to detect their movement through the walls? Lily took the device, understanding his plan. The pirates would be looking for advanced security systems, not basic motion detection. As she worked, she heard the sounds of fighting getting closer. Suddenly, the first group of pirates rounded the corner. They wore advanced combat suits with energy shields, clearly stolen from a luminary military base, but they hesitated when they saw the unusual defenses facing them. Now, Jack shouted. The mining drills roared to life. Their powerful beams, designed to cut through asteroid rock, sliced through the pirates' shields like they weren't even there. The pirates had expected to face standard security systems, not industrial mining equipment operating at full power. Their shields are calibrated for energy weapons, Lily realized, watching the pirates scramble for cover. They can't handle this type of raw physical force. Humans are good at improvising, Jack said, directing the colonists to seal off another corridor. We've had to be. The universe isn't always friendly to us. The pirates regrouped and tried a different approach, using smoke grenades to cover their advance. But Jack was ready for that too. He activated the bay's ventilation systems, designed to clear toxic mining gases. At maximum power, the smoke was sucked away instantly, leaving the pirates exposed. Lily, we need your help, Jack called out as he rushed to modify another piece of equipment. Can you overload their suit systems? They must use similar frequencies to your ship. Lily's fingers flew over her scanner, now reprogrammed to interact with the pirates' stolen luminary tech. She found the frequency and boosted it, causing their combat suits to short out and lock up. The pirates weren't done yet. Their leader, a tall figure in advanced armor, stepped forward with a weapon Lily recognized, a sonic disruptor, capable of shattering solid objects with sound waves. Everyone down, she shouted, but Jack was already moving. He activated the mining bay's sonic dampeners, equipment used to protect workers from the noise of drilling. The disruptor's beam hit the dampening field and dispersed harmlessly. You see, Jack said, working as he talked. Everything we need is right here. These tools keep us alive in space every day. We just need to use them differently. The pirates launched one final, desperate attack. They tried to use plasma cutters to breach the ceiling, planning to attack from above. But Jack had anticipated this too. He directed the colonists to use the bay's cooling systems, designed for preventing equipment overheating, to spray supercooled gas into the breach points. The extreme cold froze the plasma cutters instantly. Several pirates slipped on the ice that formed, their advanced weapons useless against simple physics. I never thought I'd see luminary technology defeated by mining equipment, Lily said, watching as the remaining pirates retreated. It's not about how advanced your tools are, Jack replied, helping a fellow colonist secure the barricade. It's about understanding what you have and using it wisely. Every tool has a purpose, sometimes more than one. Looking around the mining bay, Lily saw the truth in his words. The colonists had transformed their workplace into a fortress, using their intimate knowledge of their equipment to overcome supposedly superior technology. The pirates were on the run, but the battle wasn't over yet. However, for the first time, Lily felt confident they would win. These humans had shown her that true advancement wasn't just about having the best technology. It was about having the wisdom and courage to use what you had in creative ways. And in that, humans were far from primitive. The pirates regrouped for their final assault. Through the mining base cameras, Lily could see them gathering their remaining forces. The pirate leader was furious, shouting orders as his troops prepared to charge. They're getting desperate, Jack said, checking their makeshift defenses. That makes them dangerous. Everyone, stay alert. Lily studied her modified scanner. They're bringing in heavy weapons, energy cannons, and something else. She frowned at the readings. There's a strange power signature I don't recognize. A massive explosion rocked the colony. Through the smoke, A huge machine emerged, a mining excavator stolen from another colony, now modified with pirate technology. Its industrial drill had been enhanced with energy weapons, making it a terrifying combination of raw power and advanced tech. "They're using our own equipment against us," a colonist shouted, backing away from the barrier. But Jack didn't look worried. Instead, he smiled. "No, they're using equipment they don't understand. Lily, remember how we fixed your ship?" Lily's eyes widened as she realized what he meant. The crystal matrices. If they've modified the excavator with energy weapons, the crystals won't be properly aligned. Jack finished. "Tom, get me the sonic pulse generator. Lily, I need you to calculate the excavator's resonant frequency." They worked quickly as the massive machine approached. Jack modified the pulse generator, normally used for breaking up rock formations, while Lily determined the exact frequency that would affect both the excavator's original systems and its stolen technology. The pirates fired their weapon. Enhanced drilling beams, hot enough to melt metal, sliced through the outer defenses. But Jack was ready. "Now," he shouted, activating the modified pulse generator. The sonic wave hit the excavator at exactly the right frequency. The improperly aligned crystals in its hybrid systems shattered instantly. The massive machine ground to a halt, its weapon systems overloading in a spectacular display of sparks and smoke. "How?" The pirate leader's voice boomed over their stolen comm system. "How are you defeating our superior technology?" "Because it's not about having superior technology," Jack replied, his voice calm. "It's about understanding what you're using. You stole these tools. We live with them every day." The pirates launched their final attack, charging forward with their remaining weapons. But the colonists were ready. They used everything at their disposal. Cooling systems created walls of ice. Ventilation fans became wind barriers, and modified mining lasers cut through the pirates' increasingly desperate attacks. Lily found herself working alongside the colonists, her academic knowledge combining with their practical experience. She helped them tune their equipment to exactly the right frequencies, while they showed her how to use simple tools in ways she never imagined. The battle moved through the colony's corridors. The pirates, despite their advanced weapons, found themselves constantly surprised by the colonists' innovative tactics. Loading robots became mobile barriers. Maintenance tunnels turned into ambush points. Every piece of mining equipment became a weapon in the hands of people who truly understood how it worked. The turning point came when the pirate leader himself tried to use a stolen luminary energy cannon. The weapon was powerful enough to breach any normal defense, but Jack had anticipated this. He activated the colony's electromagnetic mining separators at full power, disrupting the cannon's energy field. The weapon backfired, leaving the pirate leader stunned and vulnerable. Within minutes, the remaining pirates were retreating to their ships. The colonists had won, defending their home with nothing more than mining tools and determination. "I don't understand," Lily said, watching the pirate ships flee. "You defeated them with such simple equipment. Our most advanced weapons and defenses couldn't have done better." Jack picked up a simple wrench, turning it in his hands. "There's nothing simple about these tools, Lily. They keep us alive out here in space every day. We respect them, understand them, and know how to use them properly." He smiled at her. "That's the real difference between using technology and truly mastering it." Looking around at the victorious colonists, Lily realized she had learned more about real technology in these few days than in all her years at the academy. True advancement wasn't about having the most sophisticated tools. It was about understanding your tools completely and using them wisely. The primitive humans had taught her that lesson well. A week after the pirate attack, Lily stood beside her repaired ship, watching the colony's morning activities. The damage from the battle was almost completely fixed, thanks to the colonists' efficient work. She found it amazing how quickly they had turned their mining equipment back to its original purpose, all packed and ready to go. Jack asked, walking up with a toolbox in hand. He had just finished the final checks on her ship's systems. "Yes," Lily replied, but didn't move toward the ship. The quantum stabilizer is working better than ever. I still can't believe you improved it using mining crystals. Jack shrugged, but smiled. Sometimes the simple solution is the best one. Those crystals might not be as fancy as your original ones, but they'll handle the gravitational anomalies in this sector much better. Lily looked at her ship, then back at the colony. The place she had once seen as primitive now looked different to her eyes. The practical design of the buildings, the efficient layout of the equipment, the way everything had multiple uses, it wasn't primitive at all. It was clever, practical, and built to last. You know, she said slowly, when I first landed here, I thought I was stuck in some backward outpost. I felt sorry for you all, working with such basic tools and living such simple lives. And now, Jack asked, genuinely curious. Now I understand that I was the one who didn't see clearly. Lily touched the hull of her ship, feeling the new modifications. My people pride themselves on having the most advanced technology in the galaxy. But during the pirate attack, all our stolen technology was defeated by mining equipment and human creativity. A group of colonists passed by, waving to them. They were carrying tools to repair the last remaining damage from the battle. Lily waved back, remembering how they had fought together. The Academy teaches us that progress means making everything more advanced, more automated, more complex, she continued. But you showed me that true advancement isn't about having the fanciest tools. It's about understanding your tools completely and using them wisely. Jack nodded. Every tool on this colony keeps us alive in space. We have to understand them inside and out. That's not primitive. That's survival. That's exactly it, Lily said excitedly. My people have become so dependent on advanced technology that we've lost something important. The ability to think creatively, to solve problems with whatever is available. We've forgotten that the simplest solution is often the best one. She looked at her data tablet, where she had recorded everything she'd learned during her stay. I'm going to write a report for the Academy about this colony. They need to understand that there are different kinds of advancement. The way humans adapt and improvise. That's a kind of technology too, isn't it? Just be sure to mention that we're not completely primitive, Jack joked. We do have artificial gravity, after all. Lily laughed, something she would never have done with a human before her stay here. Oh, I'll tell them everything. About how you defeated pirates with mining equipment. How you improved my ship's systems with simple crystals. How you taught me to think outside the box. The colony's morning siren sounded, signaling the start of the workday. Lily knew it was time to leave, but found herself reluctant to go. You know, Jack said, sensing her hesitation, we're always looking for engineers who understand both advanced technology and practical solutions. If you ever want to study some primitive human ingenuity up close, I might take you up on that offer, Lily said, surprising herself. After all, there's clearly more to learn here than I first thought. As she finally boarded her ship and prepared for takeoff, Lily looked back at the colony one last time. The place she had once seen as a primitive outpost now represented something else, a different kind of advancement, one based on understanding, adaptability, and practical wisdom. She had arrived thinking she would teach these simple humans about proper technology. Instead, they had taught her what technology truly meant. And that lesson, she knew, was more valuable than anything she had learned at the Academy. The future, she realized, needed both kinds of advancement, and she was going to help build that future.